So ladies and gentlemen, this is a video that I've actually wanted to make for a while, and I figure given that James Gunn has recently revealed that his Superman movie is just a little over 50% of the way through shooting, with pretty much nothing being seen other than the character of the engineer in a harness, showing how a lot of things are being kept under wraps. I mean, literally. But we should delve into what to expect from the very world the first live-action DCU movie will give us in terms of the state of things. And I say that because if you didn't know already, James Gunn and Peter Safran's new cinematic universe won't start off with like a variety of origin movies and stuff like that, if you will, like you've seen from other franchises, whereas instead, as James Gunn describes it, this is a living, breathing DC universe in where heroes exist and have already existed for quite a while. So in other words, we're hitting the ground running when it comes to even by the time we get to see the first stories being told on screen with this new DC reboot. And what we're going to discuss today, I think, will be highly reflective of what we'll actually see in this new universe and how the DC's world, heroes, and even citizens operate. So with the DCU Superman movie, there's actually been a term that I coined quite a long time ago now due to the teasers that James Gunn has given, and it's known as the reverse Kingdom Come theory. Now, full transparency here, I don't know if anyone else was saying this idea a long time ago as well, but all I know is that I've been calling it the reverse Kingdom Come theory ever since those early days of the Gods and Monsters announcement video. And actually kind of before that with some of the teasers that James Gunn gave in 2022, but it just seems to be a growing thing that I've seen referenced throughout the fandom ever since. But I also see a lot of people ask, you know, what the heck is this reverse Kingdom Come theory, and just how could this really factor into James Gunn's Superman? And that is exactly what we're going to get into today, and I feel like it's about time I made a dedicated video to it, just in case anybody stumbles across it and wonders what the heck it is. And if you enjoy me getting into all of this, would really appreciate a like. Just wanted to squeeze this in here, and maybe consider subscribing for more bonus videos just like this. So getting into it now, you may or may not know, but Kingdom Come is a popular Superman story written by Mark Waid and painted by the amazing Alex Ross. Like, even if you don't know the Kingdom Come story or haven't read it yourself, like, you should recognize Alex Ross's artwork here. So to run through it fairly loosely to give you guys the idea before we get into how this can reflect on Gunn's Superman and the DCU, the story itself is an Elseworld story, and where essentially the world has seen superheroes to anti-heroes to villains be a thing for a very, very long time. It's not exactly what you're used to seeing in comics with Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, among others, being in their prime, but rather actually a few decades later. But things have kind of got to the point in this specific storyline in where the popular heroes of old and the way that they mostly played things by the book when it came to handling villains is very much so a thing of the past. Now, we have a new generation of heroes, or wannabe heroes and vigilantes in Kingdom Come, and they're a lot more violent, and they've just ultimately lost touch with the moral compass of their predecessors, stooping down really to the very level of villains that they're trying to stop. Another interesting aspect to this story, which we're going to talk about later as well with how it could connect with Gunn's Superman, is some of the methods by the New Age heroes have even garnered quite a bit of public support. And a way to view that would be, I guess, that some people are tired of heroes just, okay, capturing a villain, locking them up for them to just break out again. You know, this is quite a popular debate with Batman and the Joker, and, you know, just they eventually cause more carnage and murder. Now, some have viewed new heroes like Magog in Kingdom Come, who has no issues if it comes to killing, as perhaps, you know, maybe it's just a more effective way, like, okay, Magog, if it comes to it, yeah, maybe just kill the villain, and it kind of makes sense. Like, we might turn a blind eye because we're kind of tired of seeing him crop up again and again. So if you need to stop certain threats like that, go ahead. And Magog in Kingdom Come ended up killing the Joker. So long story short here, this reckless way of handling things from the new generation of heroes brings Superman out of retirement, along with the Justice League of old, to just kind of remind everyone what it's like to be a hero and protector and ultimately not allow the way things have unraveled to continue any longer. So I guess at this point, a lot of you may be like, okay, cool, but how do you know that's going to be how the world is in Gunn's DCU and Superman movie? Well, ever since James Gunn came in as the new head of DC Studios back in October 2022, he would tease Alex Ross's Kingdom Come artwork quite frequently. And then, of course, eventually, what did we get? We kind of got a heavily inspired Superman suit reveal in where the Kryptonian crest, albeit made up of various influences, which is quite a cool factor about it, but the largest standout feature is blatantly the Kingdom Come symbol being used. Like, I don't think it's a stretch of the imagination to say that based even off of this, let alone some of the other little obscure teasers, that Gunn is clearly inspired with that of Kingdom Come and may very well, or is actually in ways, implementing that into his live-action DCU. Now, of course, I do want to say at the same time, this alone doesn't mean, oh my god, Kingdom Come will inspire the DCU and the new Superman in exactly the way you're saying. No, there's no guarantees to be made there, but these things paired along with a few other facts that we've learned about with just the overall makeup of this new DCU at the base conceptual level, it does feel like the circumstances of the everyday life of this new DCU could be getting some undeniable influence that draws open the curtain a bit more and invites really intriguing glimpses at the way things could stand in James Gunn's present day DCU. Now, as time went by, of course, in January of 2023, we eventually got the reveal of DCU Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. And James Gunn revealed the first 10 projects of Chapter 1, and alongside this, they spoke to the press and gave some extra details that wasn't necessarily included in that YouTube video. Now, in some of those extra details, he said the line that I'm sure many of you have heard by now, in that in Superman, the movie, he's kindness in a world that thinks of kindness as old-fashioned, as well as we're entering a world where superheroes exist and have existed for quite a while. Now, kindness viewed as old-fashioned, I think that's quite a key phrase there when he's literally describing his new Superman movie. In a world that has heroes exist and having already existed, it really isn't a leap to say that since they've been around for a long time, that kind of mirrors a similar parameter to the condition of things in that of Kingdom Come. So let's just say here, with what Gunn said in mind, that there could even be a history of the Justice Society of America in World War II, and heroes even long before that, as you get further back in the timeline of things with the prequel Paradise Lost, and who knows what other prequels could get launched down the line. I'm still hoping for a Justice Society of America prequel to the DCU, but perhaps in Chapter 2. But getting back on point here, so instead of this DC reboot taking an approach to other cinematic universes, whether that's, I don't know, the MCU with Iron Man 1 and the various other origin story movies like Captain America, the point I'm trying to make here, regardless to, this whole kickstart of this new DCU under James Gunn and Peter Safran, is that there's not going to be that kind of approach. Whereas the world that us fans are going to jump into has seen heroes for a long time, and many of them are flying around doing their thing, and we'll even see Superman interact with a few of his metahuman compatriots, as Gunn puts it, such as Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, and Guy Gardner. And so ultimately there, just with us hitting the ground running in this already existing condition of a living, breathing DC universe right from the very get-go, rather than getting into origins for everyone from the first installment, we could see a similar present state of affairs, loosely mirroring certain aspects of that Kingdom Come storyline. Now, finally, the reverse Kingdom Come theory. I feel like I did have to pad it out to kind of justify where I'm going here. So the reverse Kingdom Come theory has never really been about saying, oh, this is going to be a one-to-one copy and paste adaptation of the comic book. No, like, not at all. It's more just an influence on the setting of the world and where we're picking up in the DCU when we first see it in live action. Of course, we're not going to see Superman as a much older, gray-haired Superman, or a world in where the popular Justice League heroes of old are also much older, such as Batman. And no, Lois Lane is not going to be dead. The reverse part of this reverse Kingdom Come theory is that even though the world's climate with heroes is at this, I guess you could say, similar crossroads that reflects the comic, perhaps it's the case that since we know Superman, David Corenswet's Superman here, is an established hero, but however isn't necessarily at the height of popularity of his career, nor has the reputation of such to the world at this point in time and in this movie, let alone reflecting the height of his popularity in that of Kingdom Come, because he's a much, much older Superman. This is where the core idea of the reverse Kingdom Come theory comes into play, and how maybe by the culmination of the movie, he's perhaps going to achieve a similar reinvigoration of heroic values to what Superman did in the Kingdom Come storyline, restoring or rather inspiring the sense of moral compass among present-day heroes to reflect that of what has been blurred in the ways the old heroes conducted themselves. Another aspect of that, by the way, is what I find cool in another theory, is that some people say that what if Clark, as he was growing up in this new DCU, was actually inspired by older heroes who had these noble values, this moral compass, such as the Justice Society of America. And that's why, on top of Mara and Pa Kent and some other things, he becomes the hero he becomes to also influence the world. I think it's also important for me to stress that in the reverse Kingdom Come theory, that this doesn't apply for everyone. As we know, with Damian Wayne coming into the story of the Batman, the DCU Batman movie, The Brave and the Bold, Batman likely doesn't need this lesson, nor even some other popular heroes out there, but that's not so much my point. It's not necessarily about some of these larger-than-life, bigger heroes, but rather the reverse Kingdom Come theory aspect of it all can still be applied in such that, as we visit Gunn's DC Universe for the first time, even though we have heroes with strong codes still existing, such as Batman and Superman as he grows in popularity, Gunn has still likely gelled this world with the idea of there being many more wannabe heroes and vigilantes and metahumans out there that can still be reminded of what defines being a true hero. So all in all there, in a world that has allowed kindness to be viewed as old-fashioned in their approach to dealing with villains, or perhaps complacency and acceptance amongst the public in allowing newer vigilantes to handle things with more of this blurred line, Superman's rise in Gunn's Superman movie brings about a kindness that is no longer viewed as old-fashioned. And honestly, I really do believe it's quite believable, and why this theory of this reverse Kingdom Come has kind of echoed out there in the fandom a little bit, because it does kind of make a lot of sense with a DC universe that we're already entering, with events and heroes having already existed and having gone through a bit of their careers already. And I just think it's quite a nice thing to add on to the state of things, with a Superman who is still perhaps getting more and more known. As we know again that this isn't an origin story, and Gunn did literally say that Superman is an established hero, so I would hazard a guess of him maybe being 2 to 3 years into his career, maybe less, maybe more, but I don't think it would be far beyond that, because an example I often use is how Matt Reeves took the approach of not doing an origin story with Batman, but he did a Batman who was still becoming, specifically 1 year and 6 months in, a Batman in year 2. That really reflects on the growing popularity of this established hero of David Corenswet's Superman as well. And so he might not hold that influence on other heroes and inspiration of hope itself to the world right now, and so combining this with whatever the events of the plot are that allowed him to ascend to larger heights of defining what a hero truly is more or less a cool little spin on Kingdom Come that makes it a reverse Kingdom Come story in a roundabout way. Now, there are little additional things that I'd love to consider here the more and more you get into this, and this is where I really want everyone to get involved down in the comments below, because it can echo out into other moving pieces on the board in that of the cast of Superman, such as even Lex Luthor. So with the strong public support in the comic book storyline of the new way things are being handled by that new generation of heroes, perhaps if this is indeed mirrored in a reverse Kingdom Come sense in the Superman movie, Lex Luthor might capitalize off of this. Maybe he supports the harsher way of handling things when it comes to metahuman threats, and perhaps even endorses certain characters out there, one of which has been a theory for a while initially in that of the Engineer, with maybe by the ending events of the movie, her saying, "Screw you, Lex," and then she kind of goes off to form her own team in that of the Authority, and then they get the Authority movie, in where they're still kind of anti-heroes, and they're not villains, but they, again, handle things by any means necessary, similar to kind of what we're talking about with that of the New Age heroes of Kingdom Come, and this is where, again, insert theories here with what the Authority movie could get to in terms of plot. Will Superman brush up against them as well? And how Lex Luthor loves being in control and probably rallies a lot of support if some of the citizens of Gotham, Metropolis, and other DC cities do like this new status quo of a Kingdom Come / reverse Kingdom Come way of doing things, with New Age heroes being a bit harsher, getting the job done, but Superman rises up to kind of challenge that. And speaking of challenging that, this is also one of the ways that Lex Luthor could see Superman as a threat to the current Kingdom Come-esque state of affairs that benefits him. With Superman's challenge to the way things are being done and perhaps showing a better way, this could be where the rumors of, dare I say it, even Ultraman comes in how Lex tries to perhaps defame Superman by framing him and causing disruptions in other areas of the world, and this could be why certain heroes just need to be handled, and he uses that kind of faked scenario to just further bolster how this Superman is doing this. No, we need to do it this way. That in of itself would be another cool twist in addition to the reverse Kingdom Come aspect of Gunn's Superman movie, because not only does Superman by the ending of the film need to define what a hero should be, reminding people of the Justice Society of America, like these ideals we should strive toward, but he also has the challenge of overcoming incredibly bad optics at Luthor's diabolical plans of a Superman clone, causing potential geopolitical tension. There could also be other reverse Kingdom Come aspects to existing cast members, such as Superman's metahuman compatriots. Now, I'm not so sure about this one, but this could relate to the original title being Superman Legacy as well, in terms of how, I'm not saying Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and whatnot are problematic like the New Age heroes, but perhaps even for them, since in this movie they could be legacy characters in terms of not the first Hawkgirl, not the first Lantern, not the first Mr. Terrific, etc., etc. Maybe they aren't living up to or striving towards truly the ideals of their predecessors, and Superman inspires them to approach situations differently or truly embrace the mantle that they took upon themselves. And maybe one or two of them are like, yeah, you know, I'm not saying they're going to, again, be edgy or have been living in a total cloud, but for those existing heroes who may have, I wouldn't say turned a blind eye, but maybe just ultimately not truly living up to the potential of their mantle and the true values, their eyes are really perhaps kind of opening properly for the first time in quite a while, and where they may have been a teeny tiny complacent here and there. But I could be totally wrong about that, because maybe they're right along with Superman from the very get-go in asserting change in the current climate of superheroes that they're witnessing, and that would be pretty cool as well. You can easily also imagine, especially with Superman gaining more popularity, especially if there's another version, a clone of him, causing disruptions and lies and framing him to be in a very bad way, and he has to like burst through that to show what the true Superman is is like. Perhaps there's even like that social commentary on metahumans and vigilantes. Should they even really be a thing? Are they more harmful than they're helpful and stuff like that? Perhaps Lois even writes articles like that. And maybe, you know, I don't know, but what if she has a certain perspective on heroes as a whole, but Superman kind of restores her faith and others' faith in heroes and what it is to be a hero. I mean, I'm kind of repeating myself at this point, but you can see how all of this really comes in, and I truly do believe that the reverse Kingdom Come theory will come into play, even if loosely, in these ideas, without obviously doing the actual story of Clark being an old man and Lois Lane dying and Magog and everything like that. No. So ultimately, I'm going to leave it there. I would love to know what you guys think of the reverse Kingdom Come theory. Do you agree with me in terms of how you can really see that being a part of the plot in some way or another, just with the current state of affairs in this DC universe and how we're hitting the ground running with heroes already being a thing? I really, really do. And let me know any additional ideas that I may not have considered in this video. There could be something you say where I'm like, damn, yeah, I think that could play into it as well. If you got to this part of the video, would really appreciate a like. It really helps me out a ton and encourages me to do more bonus videos like this on the channel. But I'm gonna love you and leave you now, ladies and gentlemen. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you people of the DC Universe in the next video. Goodbye.